This time we're back with the stream.
Hold on, let's start again.
Okay. Welcome back, everybody, to Cyber Digest. This time we're back and we are back with a live stream.
Yes, sir.
Joining me today is, of course, my co-host, Khotso.
How you guys doing? It's good to see you guys again.
Beside him is Wandile, and we are about to unpack everything that's been happening within the AI tech space, man. It's been a lot happening.
Of course. I mean, it's literally new developments every other day, if not
crazy.
every week. So I like that we can continuously research, learn more,
Yeah.
find out more about who's going to become the leader of AI in the world.
It's exciting times, actually. Now that you actually say, like, it's literally a race for AI glory, for AI dominance. Like,
Facts.
I think the last time we saw something like this was, I don't know, the race for nuclear weapons.
Probably.
Yeah.
Or even...
It's actually reminding me of the movie Oppenheimer. Like,
Yes.
it became so political. Like, it was a race for who can actually make this the first or perfect it. And I think that's essentially what we're seeing. Like, who can perfect AI first?
And I think what's cool about it is we understand that we're only at the beginning of what AI can actually do for the world and what it can do for everybody, essentially.
Crazy.
And I think the reason why countries are trying to spearhead AI so much is because they know that it could lead to them becoming the next superpower.
Yeah.
So now we can look at the US and China. Always at
Crazy,
war,
right?
of course.
Yeah. And it was great because the US always kind of had dominance over just in general AI technology. I mean, with NVIDIA and then NVIDIA, of course, producing chips for all of these AI companies. And then you'd have all these tech firms producing their... And, you know, China was always kind of handicapped because they couldn't essentially... They didn't have access to, like, high-performing GPUs. But now, you know, they kind of trying to level the playing field with less money, less time, and more efficiency.
And I think just looking back, I want to reflect back on 2020
Yeah.
when there was that global chip shortage. And that was
Oh, yeah.
before the boom of OpenAI, ChatGPT, and,
Yeah.
you know, the AI race starting to actually begin gaining traction.
Yeah.
I don't know if the US or China already knew what was coming.
Yeah.
And that's why either one of the sides was sort of like limiting the spread of chips across the world. But I think it's quite interesting to see how things are developing. But yeah, the first story that I think we should touch on, of course, DeepSeek, the story continues. Like we were discussing now, the China, the US war, or the race for AI dominance.
True.
China, or rather the US, is actually looking at banning DeepSeek. And I mean, it's only like, what, a week and a half into its inception?
Just when I was getting excited to actually just try it out,
Yeah.
now this country's coming out and saying, no, we actually don't want this. We're actually banning this, which is, it's crazy because you're not playing fair. But I mean, it's never been fair, I guess.
Yeah, no, it's not. I mean, at the end of the day, it is competition. But
is.
the states, the way that they handle their competition is not the way that China does it.
Yeah.
I think China is very innovative. They don't put restrictions on anything when it comes to their competitiveness. Rather, they're like, listen, we will develop the best product and let the product speak for itself.
Yeah.
Instead of putting restrictions and limitations in the way of the states winning, you know, the AI race.
Yeah.
So I kind of respect China. Don't really have much respect for the states, to be very honest.
Yeah, man. They are a wolf in sheep's clothing, you know.
Yeah.
And I guess they've always just had that paranoia about, you know, national security risks and data breaches, especially with regards to China. I mean, I get it, but it's always just been an irony because they've always also just been the country who's also just watching over everybody, who has military in on everybody's doorstep, who's kind of always involved in everybody's dealings. And then with China, it's always a thing of, you know what, no, we don't want TikTok.
We're going to ban it.
We're going to ban it. We don't want this, we don't want that. And so this ban, it's actually kind of hectic. Is it really that deep?
I mean, they said they're going to give 20 years, a 20-year imprisonment if somebody is found to be using DeepSeek in the States.
That's kind of crazy because,
That's
I mean,
insane.
that's a sentence you'd usually give to somebody who's done something crazy.
Like murder or
Yeah.
actually threatening somebody's life.
But now you could possibly get 20 years for
Research.
for research.
For research. And I mean, granted, I understand that the states might be a bit insecure about maybe it's a threat to their intelligence, their government, whatever those kind of risks that could possibly be in place.
Yeah.
But I really don't think that DeepSeek or even TikTok is the way that China would, I don't know, benefit or like win from that kind of war, like a data war.
Yeah.
I don't know. You let me know your thoughts.
It's also just kind of ironic because the US, since the 20th century, they've always kind of just been painting this narrative, about communist countries or socialist countries and China in general, how they're kind of fascist states, and they're high on censorship. They're very restrictive towards their citizens in terms of internet access, in terms of information. But here they are essentially saying, like, no, our citizens can't use this. We don't want them to use this because of our own insecure government insecurities and national security risks. But they're essentially telling their citizens that, no, you guys don't have full freedom or autonomy to use whatever you want to use. And granted, even if it's not fully justifiable reasons. I mean, what are the fully justified? Have they found any probable cause to actually ban it?
Not as of yet. I mean, like I said, DeepSeek is only a week and a half, if not 2 weeks into its inception. So I don't think they've found those risks per se. But I also wanted to mention that it's not just the US that's feeling insecure. Taiwan is also feeling quite insecure. So Taiwan has essentially banned government departments from using DeepSeek AI, and they're not planning on doing it. They've already done it.
Yeah.
I guess it is because they're talking about their government officials not using DeepSeek. They are once again protecting their government, protecting their intelligence as a country. And it just continues to make me question, like, is China really that much of a threat to all these other countries? Is China really using, like, sort of Trojan horses ways of getting into the country?
And I guess for Taiwan, there's that whole element of just the political aspect between China and Taiwan. I don't know if you've seen, but I saw videos where people were kind of prompting DeepSeek and asking it questions about Taiwan. Is Taiwan an independent country?
I saw that.
The funniest thing ever. Oh my God. And so I guess also just those concerns of just also, I mean, it's no secret that China also has its own censorship, issues.
Of course, within the country,
and biasness. And so I think that's also just apparent within DeepSeek itself, answering questions like that. But, I mean, you can't run away from that. Even the US, I mean, Gemini will fully straight up tell you it can't comment on any political figures or any elections or any kind of political event that's going on, which is just crazy.
I think we might reflect back on the time that Facebook was also accused of manipulating the way that the elections were going.
Mark, when I catch you,
Mark Zuckerberg.
Yo, nah, that guy, bro.
Because I think he might have also prompted some of this stuff from happening, because social media once could also be a Trojan horse, the same way that these AI models are. But before we continue, let's just quickly play a video on Taiwan and the DeepSeek ban for their government officials.
Taiwan is banning public sector workers from using China's open source AI model, DeepSeek. The Digital Affairs Ministry cited possible data leaks as a national security risk. DeepSeek's launch in January gained much attention from the tech industry worldwide. It also raised concerns about data security, as the company stores data on Chinese servers. The AI chatbot has also been seen censor answers to questions sensitive to the Chinese government, including about Taiwan.
Yes, so that's that. I guess it was also on the back of people asking those questions. Is Taiwan part of China? All of these different things. But guys, I don't know. Maybe I'm biased. Maybe I don't know enough. But I really don't think that these AI models are necessarily a threat, unless we're looking at data collection, because we know now that data is one of the biggest resources that anyone can have. And that's why all these companies are probably also racing for AI dominance, because they know how much information you can get from people giving prompts and asking certain questions.
I think it has been quite a sensitive thing, because I mean, how do you kind of mitigate that? Because I mean, if you're gonna prompt, I mean, the AI model needs as much information
as possible.
And so, I imagine people with their own AIs, they just, will give up any random information. And without a second thought, of course, they just trying to get the best results. And so it is a weird time, man.
That's a very, very weird time, man.
Speaking of something, I actually there's something interesting I came across. So Google dropped a pledge not to use AI for weapons.
Oh? Tell me about that.
Yeah, so they are so they had a pledge not to use artificial intelligence for weapons and surveillance, and so they've dropped that pledge. And essentially, it looks like they're actually going to be going deep into that. This could be probably a possible relationship with the U.S. military to develop weapons or surveillance, which is crazy.
That's kind of crazy, actually.
It's-
But I mean, it might
It
be
makes
going
sense.
against what I first said, but
Okay.
yeah, it can actually be used as a weapon as well. That information, that data.
That's crazy. I mean, imagine just weapons that are essentially that have AI integrated into it. I mean,
Exactly.
yeah, dude, I'm trying to think. Like, there's so many ways. I mean, we've watched movies on this.
Or even series like Black Mirror.
Oh
Mirror
my God.
addresses stuff like
Yeah,
that.
now
Like,
we're heading into a very dystopian territory.
very dystopian territory, very dystopian times, and just knowing that AI knows more than us already right now, and we're still at the inception.
It's scary,
It's
bro.
crazy. So imagine having it being used for military weapons. I mean, even there were sometimes they were talking about the war. I think between was it Iran and what was the other country? Just remind me.
Are you talking about the recent?
The recent wars, yeah.
So Palestine and Israel.
Yes, in Gaza.
Yeah.
So even there, they were saying that like they were using AI drones to be able to drop bombs. So not even having a human control it or having a human control it remotely.
Yo, I don't know, man. How advanced do we need to get, especially with regards to war? But I guess humans have this kind of natural drive to want to always perfect, get better,
Of course.
until you reach a point where we kind of, kill ourselves.
Well, essentially, I think AI might be the beginning of us killing ourselves.
Yeah.
Yes, it might sound like it's coming from the movies or whatever.
Yeah,
like
guys,
these
we
sci-fi
know it sounds,
it might sound a bit crazy.
played out, but we essentially in a phase where we are in the process of replacing ourselves in so many aspects. And then it's going to come a time where, we are so advanced and we're so smart at just eliminating each other.
without having to actually do anything.
I mean, I don't know
AI
if,
would be working for us.
yeah, I don't know if you remember, there was a time when we discussed with Kyle. He was like, there's these smart guns,
Yeah.
which is crazy. Like, yo, why do you need smart guns? Guys, like,
I
why?
mean, I guess pulling the trigger is too much effort as well, maybe.
Now we've got guns connecting to Wi-Fi, and there's just like,
And that's insane because it means people can kill other people from the comfort of their own homes and not necessarily even be detected.
yeah, like it's crazy. It is a technological boom right now. I actually do think we were actually in the beginning of, if not in somewhere within that spectrum, in a technological boom era where we're in an era of AI and so many things are it's just this ripple effect of so many things are having AI integrated into it, and everything is just advancing at such a huge
rapid
pace. Yeah,
and it
'cause-
also makes me question, like, are there measures in place to be able to restrict all of these developments that are happening as quickly as they're happening? Are there laws that are being put in place? Are there like restrictions the same way I guess the US and Taiwan are doing, but
I don't
on a
think
more
so.
specific like
I don't
space?
yet. I don't think so. I think because it's been so fast, I don't think people have kind of even just the higher ups officials fully figured out how to kind of mitigate some of these concerns. Because I know Elon Musk has also spoken about it with regards to open AI and its dangers. I mean, but he is also a hypocrite. But
Why
but-
do you say so?
I think I think Musk, so much of him is such a, I don't want to say a facade, but he's somebody who I'm just so suspect of. Especially, I hate what he did during the elections. So you essentially have the richest man in the world who buys one of the most powerful platforms, a social media, like a whole social media app, and then he's campaigning for Trump. Essentially, played a huge role in that election. Like, that's
Of course,
crazy.
using that platform that he was already banned off of.
That's crazy. Because I mean, years ago, it would have been like you'd use like news companies. I mean, much like Succession, we see Logan Roy pulling the strings.
Yeah, but this is a new way of doing that, of controlling the
Yeah,
media.
now we're in the era of social media, and you have this guy who's kind of, who's recruiting all of these right-wing people, conservatives, even, these red pill, blue pill guys, like all of that. Or like, I'm just so suspect of him. And also his, I guess also his stance on just South African politics, also just black politics is
It's a whole other conversation.
yeah. But so as we're saying, I think we're in a time when things are accelerating so fast just because of AI. Because I think since OpenAI launched ChatGPT when I think 2 years back, right?
It might be 3 now.
3.
It might be about 3 years.
But it's been advancing so fast. So
Yeah.
many models, so
Yeah.
many new AI models under OpenAI, but also other companies. So many new features, so many things. You got deep research, you got Sora, you got DALI, so many things, and it's just accelerating so fast. Like it is like just this tree that's springing out and just birthing so many different things. And then I'm sure next year, you know, your everyday cars are gonna have AI.
Most likely integrated into it.
Yeah, like
they're probably
everything.
working on it right now.
Yeah, like everything, because it's becoming easier, I think, because AI is just becoming so fast. I'm so smarter, and it seems like it's becoming smart in a way where it's making itself smarter and smarter.
Of course, that's where AGI comes into the conversation. And I think
Okay.
maybe if you guys want it, let us know. If you guys want to have a podcast episode or a live stream focused solely on AGI, what it is, we can walk you through the steps of what AGI is, how far into the developmental process all of that is.
Yeah.
Let us know. But yeah, you were talking about ChatGPT just being founded about 3 years ago, how fast they've developed.
Yeah.
And obviously now with DeepSeek becoming like one of the level playing field competitors.
Yeah.
Alphabet, which is actually Google's group, is actually trying to, as mentioned, has released a statement saying that they acknowledge DeepSeek and they're not going against it. They are accepting of it, if anything, as opposed to the States.
Oh, okay.
And they're essentially acknowledging them as competition. They understand where they are coming from as a company, and they're looking to also accelerate their investment into their own AI, which Google has been actively doing with things like Vertex AI,
Yeah.
the Google AI Studios, etc., etc. I mean, Google is always working.
Yeah.
But I think this is something that I'd asked on an episode that's coming out later today, guys. Cyber Digest. Our episode is coming out today. I mentioned how is Google going to actually evolve into as a search engine while incorporating AI, because yes, granted, they have not OpenAI, Vertex AI and AI Studio, but how are they going to integrate that into the search bar, which is like a classic thing that everybody goes to when it comes time to search?
And it's crazy because now people's kind of go-to is like they may go to Gemini or ChatGPT.
Yeah.
And I guess maybe the limitations, if maybe you got the free version, it can't surf the net in real time, but it's still kind of a trusted source of information. And so going to a search bar sometimes and you're getting thousands of search results does seem now a bit archaic. It seems outdated. Where you can just go to a Perplexity and then you just type in and it even gives you search
everything.
results and just, like a good result and answer. So I don't know how they're going to do. I don't know how they are going to kind of continue developing their AI models and perfect it. But also trying to not lose the value of their search engine. Or is it one day just going to become like one thing?
I see it actually merging. I see it eventually becoming one thing and merging, because it wouldn't make sense for them to have 3 or 4 different AI things that they're incorporating as a company and not having it become one, especially centered around the search bar, which is the most popular thing about Google, if I'd like to say, if not after YouTube.
Yeah.
But yeah, Mr. or Miss Wine Time has actually said that they do want a podcast focused on AGI. So
okay, we'll do that.
We'll definitely cook that up for you, and we hope that it's of value.
Yeah.
We'll definitely do our research the same way we expect you guys to do your research and challenge us on these live streams, please.
With the Google thing also, I mean, it's become such even just a cultural kind of staple. And I think it is an opportunity for them to kind of integrate their AI models so much into the search engine that people also just see it as a staple to just not kind of lose the value of the search engine, but now see it as both an AI assistant and also a search engine. So I think that's probably maybe the direction they're probably going.
If they're smart.
If they're smart. And we'd like to think they are. And if that is the direction, then I think they're kind of moving slow, man.
So there's also, while we're still on Google, there's an article that was mentioning Google's AI assistant vision for 2025. So I'm just going to read that quickly.
Okay.
So it says Google's AI assistant vision 2025 and beyond. Let's go into that. This increased spending directly ties into Google's ambitious plans for the future. As revealed in recent earnings calls, CEO Sundar Pichai outlined a vision for Google search to become more like an AI assistant, which is what we just said, by 2025. This transformation will leverage advancements like DeepMind's Project Astra, which can process live video and provide real-time answers. Imagine searching not just keywords, but with images, video, or even spoken questions and getting dynamic AI-powered responses. Ooh,
Okay.
that sounds delicious.
It sounds
That's
exciting.
exactly what I want.
Also, some of these names go hard. Deep mind, vision.
Deep mind, deep research.
Yeah, like is it and vision. Vision. Oh, for Marvel, Vision.
Oh, the red guy.
Yeah, and he was like
He was
an
wasn't he actually
artificial intelligence that became
yes, a real being.
yeah.
He was Iron Man's.
Yeah,
what
he
was
was
his name?
he was Jarvis.
He was Jarvis and then became
Yeah.
a real human being.
Or they developed. Okay, I don't know.
I actually don't know how it happened.
Yeah,
Yeah, but essentially that's what we would like AI to become. I would like to assume.
really,
Yeah,
is that what we really want, man?
that's
Like,
what I want. And I mean,
we entering Black Mirror phase. So like,
we knew it was coming though. We knew it was coming. If anything, Black Mirror was a prequel to what's going to happen in real life.
I feel like it's one of those things where we knew it was coming, but it's kind of too good to be true.
Yeah, and it's happening very fast. I didn't think it was going to happen while I was this young.
Like that Sharon,
Oh yes, that's Google AI Studio.
incredible.
So Google AI Studio, I would like to show you guys Google AI Studio actually.
Are you gonna-
Essentially, Google AI
Are you
Studio.
gonna prompt it live?
Let's try and prompt it live.
Okay.
Let's show everybody what we've essentially been trying to do. So if you guys don't know yet, Google AI Studio is a new thing that Google has been working on.
Yeah.
It's kind of similar to Vertex AI, but I would like to think that Vertex AI is more of a research agent incorporated
yeah.
with like open AI models. And
Also,
I'm
Google
not too informed
AI is
on
more
that.
like a kind of like this virtual assistant or AI
Yes.
assistant kind of.
Yes.
Okay.
So essentially, you're able to share your screen, talk to it in real time, and maybe share your screen. So let's say I'm using Photoshop and it's maybe my first time using the software.
Okay.
This app or software can actually guide you through using that software step by step. And I mentioned this in the podcast as well, but I do believe that it's going to replace tutorials, YouTube tutorials completely, because
That's
it's
crazy.
essentially helping you in real time at your own pace as opposed to having to continuously rewind the video.
Also, man, I wanna like in terms of how does academia deal with all these things? Because I mean, if Google AI is just, it's only gonna get better. It's only gonna get trained on a larger database and get more data every day. I mean, it's getting fed more and more data, and to the point where I mean, a lecturer won't. I mean, we're only human. We don't have. I don't know, man. Like fucking gazillion terabytes of memory.
Yeah, true.
But I mean, doesn't it get to a place where academia kind of seems not obsolete,
I would say,
but
obsolete,
less
low-key.
redundant? Obsolete.
And
Okay.
I mean, my chat is, academia has always evolved so slowly at such a slow rate.
Oh, that is
at
actually
this
true.
point, I don't think they're going to be able to keep up with with all the advancements happening in AI.
Actually, that's quite true. I think it still has that very traditional kind of approach.
Facts.
Yeah, and so it is because even with things like I remember when ChatGPT first launched, there was huge concerns from academic institutions on how do they deal with things like this, plagiarism, and just students kind of using it, and it's not misuse.
At all. It's, if anything, it's helping advance your education, because once
is.
you graduate or leave
Yeah.
school, you're going to be using these tools anyways.
Yeah.
So why would I use, the traditional method of doing something? Yes, I understand using those tools for better understanding, but on a continuous basis, let's move with the times, let's move with technology, let's accelerate education and the way academia has been structured.
Yeah, I think the main problem is that yes, there is a concern that are people going to get dumber and dumber? They probably will. They'll get more efficient, but they will get dumber and dumber.
They
But
probably will.
That has been, I think, a misstep on just us people in general, that we didn't see this as a concern early enough. We didn't try to mitigate this. And now we're at a point where ChatGPT is going to launch something called, we're going to get into that, something called deep research, where it's able to scour the net in real time and just collect so much data and look through articles, papers, and compile thorough and comprehensive research. Thorough and comprehensive research.
Things that people
And even-
already do for their dissertations, for their masters
Yes,
or their
and
doctorate.
the papers that the research that it puts together, it puts citations, everything, and it's like, how do you even deal with this in academia? Like, I mean, people go get their masters or PhDs and they just go to deep research. Like, hey man, I've got this very cool research concept or research proposal. You give it everything and it just puts together something that you couldn't even write. And it does this in like max 30 minutes.
That's scary, man. But okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to try and show the Google AI Studio.
Okay.
Bear in mind, guys, this is our first live stream. If I do make mistakes, bear with me.
Good.
Okay. All right. I think you guys are able to see. So this is essentially Google AI Studio, and it's free to the public. Everybody can access it. If you want to try and experiment along with us, all you have to do is search in Google AI Studio, and then you go down here to stream in real time. So essentially, streaming in real time is what it says. You can literally talk to your AI in real time, and the different things that you can do is talking to Gemini. So all you'd need to give it access is to your microphone, or you can show it your webcam. So essentially, Gemini can see what your webcam sees.
Incredible.
And possibly you can just maybe put a book in front of it and ask, what is the name of this book?
I would like to add something because also just these voice assistants becoming a thing, or even just these AI models incorporating the voice technology. I am quite disappointed in how Apple was quite slow in developing Siri
Facts.
or advancing Siri.
Facts.
Like, I think that was a missed opportunity.
I really do think so as well, because it was one of probably the first companies that actually developed an assistant in your phone or computer, whatever the product is. And they just haven't been... They haven't been progressing with it. And that's something that I'm starting to worry about Apple. Is
complacency.
that they're a bit complacent with their designs. But I think it's because they've realized their product works and it serves their people are happy. But I think they need to start experimenting a lot more. And I believe that Steve Jobs was that person who loved experimenting.
Siri was such a thing. It used to be such a thing.
It used to be.
And now it's kind of a forgotten
It's kind
thing.
of obsolete.
Like, people hardly use it.
Use it, yeah.
Because of the way it feels. Like, you talk to it and it doesn't feel like... You know how conversational ChatGPT feels?
Yes.
It actually feels conversational. It feels... It has that kind of feel. It's fast. It's, and Siri, it feels outdated.
Yeah, unfortunately, they're not keeping up with the times. They're really, really not keeping up with the times, and it's kind of sad. So I think let's
hop into the Google AI Studio.
Let's try the Google AI Studio, guys. So I trust that you guys can see everything here. So I'm going to share the screen. Hold on. I'm going to use the voice Sharon. I like Sharon's voice, rather. So it's going to ask you here to have access to my microphone. And cool. So I'm just going to say, hi, Gemini. Can you hear me? Hoping that it can hear me. Stop recording. Oh, maybe it's not picking me up.
Goddamn.
Okay, so essentially, hold on, let me type, hello, can you hear me? And it talks back to you, which is what's really cool. It doesn't just give you text output. It also gives you the voice output as well.
That's really great.
On top of everything, which is quite amazing. But I think now, because we are plugged into the streaming software, it won't be able to necessarily hear me. But we'll definitely include it in our podcast episode, guys, where you guys will be able to see in real time how we use Google AI Studio, which is quite incredible. But yeah, moving on to our next story. We've already touched on Google AI. Apple. We were just talking about Apple.
What does Apple do?
So apparently there's a new porn app that's specifically catered to Apple devices. And it's been making its rounds in the EU rather, and it's going against their policies, against what Apple is allowed and not allowed to do with their products. So it's quite an interesting story. I don't know if you know anything about the story.
I'm actually just kind of first Apple notarized porn app available to iPhone users in Europe. That is kind of crazy. So what would you find it on the App Store?
Yes, on the App Store. So yeah, it's basically just landed in the EU, and I don't know how
It's called
how
Hot
Apple-
Tub.
Oh, it's what?
Hot Tub.
That's quite a
Steamy.
steamy name.
Yeah.
It's quite a steamy name.
Yo, what that? Okay.
So I don't know if Apple completely acknowledged it, because this article here says by Tech Radar, it says that Apple has angrily responded to the arrival of iPhone's first native porn app, Hot Tub, on iOS in the EU this week.
Okay. So
Yeah.
I'm reading here. So Apple does not allow pornographic or adult content apps on the official app
Yeah.
Apple App Store, but to comply with the EU's Digital Marketing Act, Apple is now required as a gatekeeper to allow side loading of apps through third-party app platforms. So
And I know
that's
one of
where the
them is-
loophole is.
Yes, and the third party, I know one of them is called Alt Store as
Okay.
opposed to App Store.
Yo.
And I think that's why Apple doesn't completely agree. Oh, okay, yeah. That's why Apple doesn't completely agree with everything that's going on. So it continues to say that the app's arrival, let me share the article actually with everybody so they can all see. So it continues to say here on the article that the app's arrival was announced by Alt Store, which is a third-party app store that arrived in the EU just under a year ago, thanks to the European Union regulation that forced Apple to allow alternative app marketplaces in the region. Hot Tub describes itself as an adult content browser and will let iOS users who live in the EU both search for and play videos from adult websites, including Pornhub. It claims that the first Apple-approved porn app, but Apple has empathetically denied this and is furious that it's effectively been forced to allow an app on iPhones that would otherwise be blocked under Apple's App Store rules. That's crazy.
That is mad.
And you know how much control Apple likes to have over the entire ecosystem.
Yeah, if there's one tech company, not even tech company, just the company in general that kind of wants that always to be in control.
Yeah.
And it's Apple, and this is crazy that this happens, especially something like pornographic content
Shame.
being
They have
accessible
no
to,
control.
and that's shout out to whoever needs that type of content. I guess people want to what they
It's for
want.
your benefit.
Yeah, man. I can't fault them.
But yeah, I think what's also great about the EU, I think it was the EU as well that came up with the ban for the Lightning charger for the iPhones.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So remember, iPhone, or Apple rather, was very renowned for having the Lightning charger specifically for its iPhones.
Oh yeah.
And they never wanted to transition into using Type-C chargers.
Oh yes.
Even though they knew that Type-C was
Yeah.
a lot faster than Lightning. And essentially the EU was saying that, no, you guys are essentially gatekeeping and making it more difficult for people to have access to your products by adding that extra, hurdle by having a Lightning instead of a Type-C.
I think it's such a testament to also, the US has had to accept so many, to comply with so many of these things that tech companies do, because the government really works so much hand in hand with a lot of these big companies, and I guess the EU is kind of, I wouldn't say anti against that, but there is a level of mistrust towards these big corporations that are able to just influence so much within the West. And yeah, I think that was a good move, essentially.
On the EU side.
Yeah, listen, I'm not saying the porn was, but in general, it's like these guys sometimes. I think they're always just in control, and so yeah,
It's good that there's a system that's challenging them to
yeah.
carry on.
Because even with the EU was challenged Meta with regards to having their classified ads platform on Facebook, and so yeah, I think. Shout out EU. I know, they're also kind of wolves, but shout out them, bro. Yeah.
Yeah, so moving on to our next story, I want to just play a video about Grubhub very, very quickly.
Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today, we're diving into something that really hits home for a lot of us, like the recent data breach at Grubhub. It's a big deal, and I think we all need to talk about it.
So, let's break it down, explore what happened, and reflect on why data security is, super important in our digital age. So, first off, Grubhub,
we just
right?
kinda-
It's that popular food delivery service
thought
we
he was
all
gonna
know
go
and
straight into
use.
it.
But
Yeah, no, he's taking
recently
his time
they
on it.
faced a serious data breach that honestly left
So essentially, we're touching on now on Grubhub and data breach, obviously cybersecurity issues that are
Yeah.
always a concern every other day. Cybersecurity experts are always working. So Grubhub, which is a food delivery app, essentially announced that data breaches are impacting some of their customers and their drivers. So obviously it's setting up hurdles for all their customers. So this article by US Today says that Grubhub, the popular online food delivery platform, announced a data breach on Monday after a threat actor gained unauthorized access to some customers' contact information. The company said in a press release that it observed unusual activity within their environment traced to a third-party service provider from the support team, which resulted in a probe using forensic experts. That's scary. I mean, this is not the first time this has happened to a food delivery app.
Yeah.
I think about a couple of months ago, maybe half a year ago, the same thing happened with another food delivery app in the States. And it's compromising people because if you think about it, these food delivery apps have access to people's contact details, email addresses, home addresses, most especially.
That's crazy.
So if anyone who wanted that information had access to it, it's kind of bears at that point.
Do you ever think some of these companies kind of, sell their data and then,
Yes,
just
100%.
mask it as, hey, we had a data breach?
100%.
I think when Meta was having a lot of data, they still have data breaches. I think maybe they just
I think they did sell
Could-
the data to the highest bidder because when you think
Yeah.
about it, social media platforms like Meta, shucks.
Yeah,
they
I
have
mean-
everyone's data almost.
Yeah, I mean, it's not a secret. I mean, everywhere, you'll get random calls from, companies you don't even know how got your details and they're trying to sell you something or
Facts.
whatever. But yeah, I think it's quite a common thing. But I do think some of these companies do sell their data.
I think so as well. But I think in closing now, I want to just mention to the people watching that don't accept cookies. Don't accept cookies
guys.
because yes, some companies might be selling your data, but more times than not, you guys are allowing them to take your data by accepting cookies. And I don't think enough people know about this yet. That accepting cookies essentially gives those companies all your information and letting them know what your preferences are while you're surfing their platform and anybody else's platform who they're selling their data to. But yeah, I think in closing, this week has been quite interesting.
It has.
And I think it's only going to get juicier and more interesting as the weeks evolve, especially 2025. I think this year is the year where the hat is going to be given to the best AI company, individual, authority, whoever that might be.
And I'm excited, man, because even just excited about the things that you can like. I'm looking out for deep research. I want to use that.
Same.
I want to play around with so many of these, platforms or products that are being released. It's an exciting time.
Yeah.
Just even getting to use them within integrating into your kind of your work environment and even just at home, whether you just I don't know, it could be anything you're doing, but yeah, it's an exciting time.
I agree, guys. And if you guys want to start doing live builds with us, just let us know. Obviously, today's one wasn't as fruitful and successful, but that's because I guess the audio input was not what it needed to be. But otherwise,
Yeah.
quite excited for the next live stream.
Also, what I'm also excited for is so we're gonna have tutorials or kind of a showcase, like where we take you guys live and kind of build.
Along with you,
We build we build these AI assistant things using make.com and using other platforms where you essentially can build anything. Anything.
Exactly.
Can help you with any task, and yeah, that would be cool, man. So also give us some suggestions of what you guys want to see us build. So it could be anything. It could be an accounting tool or I don't know, guys. Be creative and
any kind of automation tool. Let's rather maybe ask them for their requests and
Yeah.
see if we can build a product that you guys want, maybe something that comments for you on social media.
Yeah.
Ask us to do that for you, or maybe an agent that helps you gather information from Twitter and various websites. We can assist you with doing that.
or that
And
post for you.
Exactly.
It could be anything. Like be creative and it's possible to make it.
Yeah,
You
you
know,
don't
and
have to
then-
wait for
Yeah.
these conglomerates to make it for you. You can build your own agent. And Alicia and Wandile already have a couple of videos and tutorials out.
On MRD Future Tech. So check that out on YouTube and our social media pages. Follow and also, yeah, just kind of engage with the tutorials. You can build interesting and cool things. Yeah, so we're gonna build some of that stuff live with you guys, and yeah, take you on that journey.
Yeah, if anything, I think that's a lot easier for them because maybe they can stop us in our tracks and ask how to do certain things as we build. So
Oh yeah,
that might be a great approach.
possibly they could also just have their laptops out, also
Exactly.
doing what we're doing.
Exactly.
Yeah, so that could be cool. So yeah, guys, we're not gonna build any freaky stuff.
No sex robots or anything like that.
Yo. So yeah, guys, that's it from us today.
Yes, sir.
Signing out, and yeah, I hope to see you guys again on our next live stream.
Cheers, guys. Until the next one.